So hello, everyone. This is Dr. Trish, physician, author, and health catalyst speaker, and I am over the top excited for this podcast entitled Live Life, Don't Let Life Live You with Bert Oliva. Hi, Bert.
Hello, Dr. Trish Murray.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I thank you very much for this opportunity. And I usually say that to everyone that's going to do an interview. It's just an opportunity, being able to connect with you and your followers.
Yes, and I have experienced Bert's coaching. I was at a professional public speakers boot camp in Pennsylvania about a month or so ago, and Bert is amazing. I'm going to read about his bio in just a second, but he's been in the business for over 2 decades, and he is an internationally renowned coach. And I can tell you, though, from my experiences, he doesn't hold anything back. He's a straight shooter, and he taught me so much. But also, he is all about human behavior. And so I'm just so excited to have him on this Discover Health podcast, because I'm all about subconscious patterns in us that can block us from reaching our potential. So thank you so much, Bert. It's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
So I'm going to read a bit from your bio. So Bert Oliva is a world-renowned international speaker, author, and corporate trainer on leadership and human behavior. Bert has received global recognition for delivering how-to techniques with a high-energy message, showing people how to communicate more positively and powerfully. Bert Oliva's teachings come from his studies of psychology, numerology, physiology, sociology, and neuro-linguistic programming. By studying 4-dimensional concepts, physical, emotional, logical, and spiritual, Bert has mastered the science behind human potential and empowers, motivates, and teaches people worldwide how to unlock the potential inside them. His vision is to share his knowledge and empower over 100 million individuals to follow their dreams and take action. Through his signature seminars, keynotes, and programs, Bert demonstrates how every single person has a seed of greatness inside of them, but the conditioning we received from our parents, our schools, our peers, our bosses, society, and culture has caused us to subconsciously place limitations on ourselves. The key goal in Bert's teachings is to reach your maximum potential and push your limits. Bert many times uses what are called breakthroughs, which are feats, such as walking barefoot on glass, eating fire, or even bending steel rebar with your throat. Without guidance and focus, all can be dangerous, but in Bert's signature presentations, they are metaphors for the other challenges life can present. It is by not backing down from the heat and facing the discomfort and not succumbing to the pressure one feels during breakthrough that one develops a new outlook of what is possible in one's life. That's amazing, Bert. So the first question I like to ask everyone I talk with is, how did you get to where you are in your life today?
That's a good question. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of discipline. I truly believe that we need to follow a certain pattern, like, for example, being consistent, following directions, so that way we can learn how things were done at one time and at least figure out the recipe, and then making sure you follow through. A lot of people don't follow through. They get excited, they get into something, and it works out for a little bit, and then they get sidetracked. If you want something in life and you really want to be great, we all have potential being great within us. The only person that holds us back is really ourselves. So at the end of the day, the reason that I've been doing this for over 26 years now is because I fell in love with the self-help world, because it transformed. And I figured out that a lot of it was about systems, creating certain systems and certain techniques and tools. And if you apply them, anyone can be successful. But you should actually be consistent and be very disciplined and follow through. And by the way, I want to sidetrack real quick. We just did the speaker boot camp with Orlia Moore, and you were a topic. We were talking about leaky guts. And that's what I'm talking about, is because you were so passionate with your delivery in Pennsylvania that those people that attended the event again didn't forget it. So it was a really strong anchor. And the reason, that's what I'm talking about. When you really do things that you truly love and you put your heart into it, the audience can tell. People can tell. And that's just, I wanted to bring that in because that was something that became a topic for the entire weekend, actually. And then, when we're choosing foods, for lunch or dinner, we're like, remember leaky guts.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bert. But you're the one that taught me the anchor, so you might have leaky gut. That's awesome. So, Bert, why did you become involved in human behavior?
Well, one of the things is I'm an immigrant, right? I came to the United States when I was 11 months old, and my mother left the Cuban regime because my father happened to have been communist. And when I got to this country, I never had a brother, no grandparents, no sister. Basically, my mom and myself were the only thing that I knew. I never had a family, and I started realizing that as going to all these, I used to work for corporate America. I used to work for a company called Xerox Corporation. And they used to take us up to Leesburg, Virginia, where they had a university where they would teach you sales techniques and all these other things. And I was able to actually see like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is really cool. And I want to learn more about this. And one of the things that I learned was that God gave us the gift of doing whatever it is we want to do. However, there's certain patterns. It doesn't matter what country, culture, or what gender. We all have patterns. We all have certain things that we do, and we don't even know that we're doing it on a subconscious level. So I was so intrigued through psychology how we're all the same, but yet we're not. And then the more research I started doing, the more I started getting involved, the more I realized that there's systems to create success. And in order to create success, there's certain systems, certain things that we do, how we respond, how we act, like the anchoring, for example, having a leaky gut, right? There's certain things that we're doing. We don't even know we actually do it. When you realize it, you realize how much more powerful you are as a human being by finding out how the human mind works. And I just became fascinated, and I kept doing more and more research and became a leading expert around the world.
That's awesome. I was looking at your website and obviously all your material, and one of your logos is "Make It Happen," and you're an awesome coach with people in that. And I read this term, synchro destiny, and I was so intrigued by that word, that term, synchro destiny. Is that something you came up with? Is that something that someone brought to you? Because it's that idea of being in synchrony with your destiny and where you're going to head.
I'm really known for things like that. Like, for example, for many years when I travel, I tell people I do workations, right? Where you work and vacation at the same time. So whenever I do a keynote anywhere in the world, I usually either come in a little earlier or stay for an extra 2 days and enjoy the environment, enjoy the culture so I can learn more and see how people relate. So, I've always kind of put words together. So my latest one for the new decade is not workation, is paidcation. Because for many years I was working and vacationing. Now it's time for you to get paid and still vacation. So yeah, I just come up with words and I kind of put them together because it's really systematic. We're all systems. There's certain things that we do. We're conditioned. Like one of the things I used to tell people, look, in the United States, when you see the color red, on a light pole, what are you supposed to do if you're driving?
Supposed to stop.
Right, and you see green, that you're supposed to what?
Go.
Okay, holidays in this country, what's orange and black?
Well, Halloween.
Red and green?
Christmas.
Colors condition us, words condition us, how we dress, how we actually communicate. It's all about conditioning. That's why I'm so fascinated. And I've done this with room for over 10,000 people in the room, and they all answer together because it's conditioning. So a lot of people, a lot of times it's like they have success within them. They're doing the right things, but they're not paying attention to the details. There's certain things that they would just adjust a little bit more. If you do a little adjustment, like they over here in life, and then the next 10 years, you're over here. But it also goes backwards. You adjust something, and then in 10 years, you're over here. So the whole thing is about being aware. And that's why I tell people, you want to be successful? Don't just wake up in the morning. That's just waking up. Being aware is really being enlightened. You see things other people don't see.
So what is the biggest thing that people think about motivational speakers?
Well, hence my latest book is called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. The reason is because a lot of times, especially when you start creating a larger following and people attend your seminars, your significant other or your counterpart or maybe even a family member will tell you, oh, you drank the Kool-Aid, right? Because it goes back to Jim Jones and the whole incident about, the mass suicide that they created with drinking Kool-Aid. And then the thing is, a lot of times, because you want to do better in your life, the people that are around you don't understand it. So they automatically think, oh, you're just listening to that motivation. And at the end of the day, that's not really going to change your life. Why don't you get back to work? Because that's the way we've been conditioned, right? If you go back in history or not too long ago, baby boomers, right? We were conditioned to go to school and check in. That's why they did the attendance. And then later on in life, you knew that you had to have 8 hours of work, but you would go ahead and check in and then check out. So again, it's all about conditioning. So what I'm trying to tell you is basically, people that go to seminars and they really get into it, a lot of people will tell you you've drank the Kool-Aid. You've been brainwashed. And we're all being brainwashed without going to a seminar. Media brainwashes us. I mean, sometimes even the people we surround ourselves with will brainwash you in a negative way. So, that's what they think. And most of all, we're all motivational speaker in some sort of way, right? Because if you have children or significant other, we always have an answer for them. And one of the biggest issues that I see is a lot of people have those answers, but when it comes to themselves, they kind of forget the advice that they would be giving someone else. So it's not about motivation as much as inspiration. Because motivation is great. You go to an event, you feel good, but then life happens as soon as you walk out of that event. So all that stuff was just momentary, but inspiration can last you a lifetime. And especially when you give proven tools and techniques that people can actually apply immediately, that's really what it's all about.
Yes, I mean, the idea of getting into the energy of a room and the motivation, but then, like you say, the inspiration, and you can ride that inspiration because energy is flowing everywhere. And if you just shift it, you talk about transforming self-limiting beliefs into self-fulfilling breakthroughs. What are some of the ways you promote or help people to do that?
Well, I do that with the breakthroughs, like having people lie on a bed of nails and getting a cinder block and putting it on their chest and then getting a sledgehammer and breaking through that. And usually we do that when there's relationship issues, right? The husband and wife are not getting along. And I'm like, well, does he make you upset? Yes, he does. Well, why don't we lie him down on a bed of nails? And her physiology and everything starts shifting. It's like, I don't want to see him get hurt, but that's not what you said 5 minutes ago. You were done. So here's a brick, a cinder block on his chest. By the way, here's a sledgehammer. Why don't you hit him? No, I don't want to do that. But that's not what you said. So be careful with what you say, because in reality, that's not what it is. A lot of times we justify why it is what we're going to do certain things in our lives. So long story short, we'll go ahead. I'll take the sledgehammer. I'll break it. Nothing happens to the person. The person gets up and they're like, wow, phenomenal. Yeah, look, it's mind over matter. If you actually put your mindset that you're going to succeed no matter what, the economy can go to crap. We can have 10 wars. There's always people that, if you look at the history books, have succeeded because they don't see that and allow what other people or media are telling them to actually hold them back from what they really want out of life. Life is going to continue to happen. How you approach it or how you embrace it is really the outcome that you're going to receive in your life. Look, we're all in this place called Earth for a certain moment in time. And most people, by the time they become older, like maybe 70, 80, 90, whatever their age is, it's like, I should have, would have, could have. Why? You're never too old and you're never too young. The best time to get ready to have an amazing life and leave a legacy behind is right now. And that's one of the things I fell in love when I saw you doing your talk. I was like, wow. Even though the leaky gut might be a hook, just to get them to listen, because there's so many other issues with people and their health that they're overlooking. So sometimes that would be a breakthrough. That would be like a shock and awe. Maybe I have a leaky gut. And at that moment, they realize, well, Dr. Trish, what else can I do? Well, Bert, you know what? Maybe you don't have a leaky gut, but have you ever thought about this? What about, are you eating the right foods? How's your macros? Are you sleeping enough? Just sleeping alone will change your life. And people don't realize it. They're like, oh, I sleep 6 hours a day. How's that working for you? Maybe you're the type of person that can do it 6 hours a day. But I'll tell you what, if you add an extra hour, I guarantee you that you would be more focused. You'll have better energy, right? Because sleep is important. And then how you're sleeping. right? So there's so many other things that you can teach them, but we need to shock and awe the system. And by having a quote like that, leaky gut, it's like, what? Now I have your attention. Let me talk to you about what else Dr. Trish does. And it's the same thing. We do the breaking through, having people eat fire, walking the glass on embedded nails, walking through fire, all this stuff. It's just people are like, well, it's a little gimmicky. No, it's not. It's edutainment. There you go again, putting two words together. When education and entertainment come together, people are entertained. Once a person is entertained, they're willing to learn because they're having fun in the process.
Absolutely. I mean, live life. Don't let life live you. I mean, I can remember I was a I don't think you know this about me. I was a public school teacher for 10 years, and I left at 35 years old to start medical school. So people would look at me at that time and say, what are you doing? And I said, it doesn't matter what my age is. I'm going to be 40 whether I keep teaching or whether I leave and go to medical school. Who cares? I want to live life. So that's what led me down that path.
That's where that quote comes from. For many years, I came up with that quote, and it's live life, don't let life live you, because we spend too much time letting life guide us. Bert, the beard is not going to be working for corporate. When I had no beard, corporate wasn't hiring me anyways, for example, right? No, when you are you and you are in your being state, which is something Orly spoke about this weekend at the event, when you are in your being state, who are you being? Because at the end of the day, there's over 7 billion people on this planet, and there's a huge group of people that want to connect with you. They just don't know you exist. And once you're able to connect, that's how you're able to help people. You got to get your name out there. You got to get people to understand what your message is. But you're not going to do that by wishing. You're going to do that by taking action, like what you're doing right now. This is so important. And just having in this interview, not because I'm on your show, I know you do. And it came out when we saw you on stage. And it comes out even here in the interview. Because he's like, I'm going to have 2 or 3 questions. And then you go, some people would call the rabbit hole. But we actually expand on it, because let me tell you something. At the end of the day, we're all the same, and it's nothing new that you're going to learn. A lot of this stuff, maybe they've heard it in another book or they've seen it in another video. It's not going to change, but how you deliver your message is what makes a difference, which is why the leaky gut was so important, because no one else in your industry would do that. And eventually you'll be known for that. And as crazy as it sounds, crazy people succeed.
That's awesome. So Bert, if people aren't familiar with your stuff, how do they get in touch with you? How do they find you?
Very simple. If you look up the word Bert, B-E-R-T, last name Oliva, O-L-I-V-A, that's Bert Oliva. You can Google me. You can go to any social media, and we actually are there as Bert Oliva. And I'm not hard to find.
No, you're not. I Googled you and I found a ton of information. So the last question I'd love to ask all my guests, Bert, is what is your secret for living a healthy life?
There's a couple of things. A couple of years ago, and I'm going to make it really quick, but a couple of years ago, no matter how motivated you are, life will happen. So my mom passed away, and at that same precise moment, I got sued for over $800,000, which we won the lawsuit. But at that moment, it was just more leverage and more leverage. So I went. I'm 6'2" and usually carry about 240 pounds, and I work out a lot. However, my life started falling apart, and you're like, yeah, but Bert, you've been doing this for so many years. Yes, I know, but I am human, and so are you. So you're gonna have bad moments in your life. There's transitions, and then what happened was I went up to like 310 pounds, and I said, well, Bert, how much further are you going to get in life? Eventually, you're going to have a heart attack or stroke. Something's going to happen. Why? Because you're not taking care of yourself. So it's so important to balance your life out. And a lot of these gurus are saying that life work balance, doesn't work. It does work. Find your balance, not someone else's balance. So one of the things that we do is I make sure I work out 5 days a week. I make sure that I eat a healthy diet. Am I doing that all the time? No. A lot of times when I travel, especially in some of these other countries, you're not able to get certain foods. So I know that as long as I do it majority of the time, it keeps me healthy, right? So I also do, I jot down all the food that I ingest. Like I'll have an app that I'll download, whatever your preferences in the app are. There's a couple of them that are really good. One is called Lose It. The other one is called, I forgot the other one, but that's the one I use is Lose It. And I'll go ahead and I know my macros, what I need to do and how much, protein and calorie intake and my fats and carbs. So as before I put food in my mouth, I will look at it to the point that now I'm aware what is a half a cup of rice versus 1 cup of rice. So eating is really important. Making sure you, and then nutraceuticals, vitamins. Making sure you're getting your vitamins. I also do make sure that I have a physical done no less than twice a year, to make sure as we age, certain things need to be adjusted. So a lot of times I don't eat a stack of vitamins. I can get a lot of those vitamins from the foods, right? So what I'll do, I knew you're going to agree with this because this is really what it's all about. Buying a bunch of vitamins is really going to get you sicker. So the best thing I tell people, sometimes certain vitamins you really can't get from food as much, depending on the amount that you're depleted and you need. But for the most part, if you change the way you eat, your entire lifestyle will change. And if you eat better, you will be able to be more motivated to be able to create that massive change you want to do in people's lives. Because if you yourself are falling apart, how are you going to be able to change people's lives or even get your message out there? Forget about changing people's lives, just getting the message out there. How are you going to do it if you're tired and you're all beat up, overweight, you can't breathe? Like right now, we had a conversation before we started the webinar. You were working. You had just done a project the entire weekend, and then now you're doing a podcast. And as soon as we get off this podcast, you're going back to work. Why? Because you're eating right. That's where the source of energy comes from. And one last thing, water. Drink water. Water will cleanse your body. Water, instead of drinking an energy drink, grab a cup of water. You'll get more energy out of that, and you won't get hurt by having energy drinks. Even though one time they were my sponsors, but I really honestly realize the older I get, the more I realize how important our temple is, and we take it for granted.
Absolutely, folks. Listen to Bert, because he has gotten it right, and he's found the balance, and he's teaching others how to find it. And if you're looking for a coach to help you make it happen, Bert Oliva is definitely one that I know has helped me make it happen. So thank you so much, Bert, for being on the show with me today. And thanks for all of those great tips.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to connecting with you again. And make everyone out there, make this decade the best decade ever. Don't look at it as, oh, this is a new year. This is a new decade. A major transformation is about to happen, but only if you take action. So my name is Bert Oliva. Remember to live life, and don't let life live you. And I'll see you guys real soon.